Oh, hi guys. Back with the second video of the day, another quick one, written by Daniel Defoe, who is the author of the amazing, the unequal, the unparalleled Robinson Crusoe. So remember when I did my 100 subscriber special, I put Robinson Crusoe as the best book of the 1700s, so the 18th century. This book is a disappointment comparatively. This book is historical fiction, and it's very light on the fiction and very heavy on the history, which is disappointing to me because that's not what I expected. I expected there to be a story, a narrative involving the main character, but it wasn't. It's basically just a history. It's a recording of two histories, some wars of the great king, Swedish king Gustavus Adolphus in Europe. So he basically was Protestant, trying to align with the Protestant German principalities against the Holy Roman Emperor, which, as you know, is Catholic. So that of the two main sections of the book, I say that was the more interesting to me. The wars of Gustavus Adolphus against the Holy Roman Emperor, and the second part is about the, what do you call? I guess it's the Glorious Revolution. So it's the forces of Parliament in England versus King Charles I's forces, and ultimately, as you probably know, the parliamentary forces win against King Charles, and of course, the very end of the narrative is the execution of Charles I. So, I've read a decent amount about English history. That none of this was a surprise or whatever. I learned a bit about the players. I learned about the origin of Oliver Cromwell. He was just a sort of a middling soldier, a very capable soldier. So he had a progression much like Napoleon in that way. And it was good to learn about the Scottish involvement on the parliamentary side and the Irish lack of Irish involvement in this, as I say, Glorious Revolution. The most interesting part of the whole book was, in fact, the last couple pages, where the author is talking about coincidences of dates. So on certain date, somebody did this, and then on the same date in another year, this happened. So it was very much about fate or justice. So, for instance, just as a theoretical example, maybe on a certain date, somebody executed a Catholic. Well, that person himself or herself would have been executed on that date in a later year. Or somebody, it was this kind of thing. So somebody exercised power on a certain date, and then they got their comeuppance a couple years later, or sometimes many years later, on the same date. So I found that was really interesting way of ending the book. So if you like, if you like Robinson Crusoe, which I do, I love. This is not this is not like it. It's nothing like it at all. Um, it's kind of like a Journal of the Plague Year, which is a well-known work of Daniel Defoe's as well. It's a discussion of the outbreak of the plague. I think in 1666. Maybe I got that date wrong. And it's a kind of a retelling of that year. Um, so it's not, again, it's not a novel. It's not fiction per se. It's historical fiction, heavy on the history, light on the fiction. But remember, there are other instances of Defoe writing amazing fiction. I loved Moll Flanders. Highly recommend Moll Flanders. I haven't read Roxana yet, but I imagine it's somewhat similar. So if you liked Robinson Crusoe and you like Daniel Defoe because of Robinson Crusoe, you might not like this. I think this is a book just for students of history, of 17th century history. So if you like novels, this is not for you. But anyway, thanks, guys. Hope everyone has a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.